Yeah, I think, we've been talking about pinkwashing for maybe over a decade or 2 decades, and maybe even experienced it before it was coined in 2009 by Ali Abu Nami. But I think, saying that it's a cynical strategy used and abused by Israeli governments to distract the attention from the gross violation of international law and human rights. But not just to do that, to show that Israel is a gay haven for queer people, but also, I think what is really dangerous about pinkwashing is the fact that it also portrays us, Arabs, Palestinians, Muslims, brown people, as homophobic, barbaric, and therefore not worthy of any rights or humanity. And also Israel tries to act as the savior of, to save us from our backwards homophobic families. It's like there's a pink door through apartheid wall that says, if you are queer, then you are more than welcome to come and live in gay haven, Israel. But if you're not, then, we will continue to colonize you, oppress you, genocide you. So this whole discourse and this whole rhetoric is, been prevailing for a long time. And I think many people in the West, they want to come and save Palestinian queers. So I always say thank you, but no thank you. We don't need savings as queers. We do need savings as Palestinians, because as queers, we have mostly managed to raise the bar within our own community, with our own feminist movement, which has always been intersectional. The feminist movement in Palestine for maybe over 100 years have been, uniting the national with the political struggle, the social with the political struggle for liberation. And what the queer movement did is that we broadened and enriched this intersection to include sexual and gender freedoms. So I think we have also contributed to radicalizing the feminist movement in Palestine,
Yes.
making it more radical. And also with the national movement, because today, if you look at BDS, the Palestinian Boycott, Divestment and Sanctions Movement, they center Palestinian voices. They talk about queer voices in all their productions, Arabic, English, French, in all languages. And BDS is the largest coalition of Palestinian civil society. And if they center queer voices, then it means that many segments of our societies also. So I think, for us as queers in Palestine, maybe we face the same universal challenges of queer people around the world. But particular to the context of Palestine is, occupation, settler colonialism, and apartheid, and of course, pinkwashing, which always, puts us in circles where we don't have representation, we don't have the capacity to represent ourselves or to speak for ourselves, and we're constantly at a disadvantage, portrayed as victims. So it was important for us as a queer movement to develop a discourse that was, revolving around these intersections of oppression, to unite feminism, queerism, and resistance to all forms of oppression into a monumental struggle that became effective, locally and globally. Because when you're under politics of occupation and apartheid for many years, it's not possible to talk about sexual and gender rights in Palestine without really talking about the big elephant in the room. So the discourse on pinkwashing has been prevailing through all of our stories. We don't remember exactly what I shared in the movie, but I remember that just by questioning my sexuality and going to live in Tel Aviv, and having my Israeli friends trying to change my name to become more Israeli. And at the time, I was only 18, a Palestinian my whole life. And I just started to question my sexuality. So I decided to leave Tel Aviv and never look back. So when they talk about Tel Aviv being a gay haven, maybe it is if you're an Israeli or maybe an American or maybe French, but not if you're Palestinian. So the discourse and the attitudes on pinkwashing has always been. And I think it's very much evident in the stories of Palestinian queers. But to the practice, we see it all the time, also by Israeli LGBT organizations who are part of this propaganda with the Israeli government, always saying how great to be gay in the army. That is actually now committing genocide against all Palestinians, also queer people. We don't know how many queer people lying in mass graves. We don't know how many feminists are lying in mass graves. We know the number of people who have been, dead or missing, and the numbers, are massive and shocking every day. Over 34,000 people are being dead or missing right now. So I know that, Israeli prime ministers in many, many occasions, over UN or other international platforms, they said, look how they treat women, meaning the Arabs and people who live in the Middle East. And look how they kill the gays and the queers. And I think during these 6 months, Israel has killed more women and more queers than anyone in the history of this region. So today is, it's not, there are no gray areas anymore. Things are very clear. I think everyone around the world, whether he wants to or not, or she wants to or not, or they want to or not, they know. It's not complicated. It's not anyone's right to defend themselves. It's a genocide. It's an ongoing oppression. It's apartheid. They say we live in a democracy, but I live in an apartheid state that has 66 laws against me for being Palestinian. So imagine more oppression for being queer, for being a woman, for being a single mother, for being a brown woman. So I think that I think Israel has managed in the past 6 months to expose what we tried to do for 75 years, to expose, the real oppression. And